If you live in the United States, you are paying roughly $5,000 more per year than someone in Germany, Japan, or Canada for the exact same things. Same insulin. Same cell phone plan. Same internet connection. And it is not because American stuff is better. It is because of a trap built by geography, protected by history, and enforced by politics. This is the America tax. And today, I am going to show you exactly how it works. Let me hit you with some numbers, because this is not an opinion piece. This is data. The average American spends about $14,500 a year on healthcare. In Germany, it is roughly $7,000. In Japan, about $5,000. Same quality of care, in many cases, better outcomes in those countries. A standard vial of insulin costs about $99 in the United States. Cross the border into Canada? $12. Fly to the UK? Under 10. According to the Rand Corporation, Americans pay almost 10 times more for insulin than people in 33 other wealthy nations. And it is not just medicine. Your Verizon Unlimited plan runs you about $75 a month. In France, you can get a comparable plan from Free Mobile for under €15 a month. Your Comcast internet bill averages around $80. In South Korea, you get faster internet for about $30. Now add all of this up: healthcare, prescriptions, phone, internet, even college tuition, and conservative estimates put the gap at roughly $5,000 a year. That is the America tax. So why does this happen? Let us start with something nobody talks about: geography. The United States is 3.8 million square miles. It is massive. And that size created something economists call a natural monopoly buffer. Think about it. When AT&T was laying telephone lines across the country in the early 1900s, the sheer distance between cities meant only one company could afford to build the infrastructure. No competitor was going to lay a second set of cables across the Rocky Mountains just to offer you a cheaper rate. The same thing happened with internet. While countries like South Korea, which is roughly the size of Indiana, could wire their entire nation with fiber optic in a few years, American telecom companies like Comcast and Spectrum carved up the country into geographic territories. They did not compete with each other. They divided the map. And this is still happening today. About 83 million Americans have access to only one broadband provider. 1. That is not a free market. That is a geographic monopoly disguised as capitalism. And it is the reason your internet bill has gone up 40% in the last decade, while speeds in Europe and Asia got faster and cheaper. Now here is where it gets wild. The reason Americans pay for healthcare the way they do, through employers, through insurance companies, through this insanely complicated system, is because of World War II. I am not joking. During the war, the US government froze wages. Companies could not offer higher salaries to attract workers. So they found a loophole: health insurance benefits. It was not taxed, so employers started offering it as a perk instead of a raise. After the war ended, the system stuck. And it became the foundation of American healthcare. Meanwhile, countries that were literally bombed to rubble, like Germany, Japan, and the UK, had to rebuild everything from scratch. And when they rebuilt, they built universal systems. Single payer. Government negotiated drug prices. They started fresh. America never did. We kept the World War II patch job and just kept adding duct tape. That is why insulin costs $99 here and $12 in Canada. That is why a hospital visit for a broken arm can cost you $3,500 in the US and basically nothing in France. It is not because American healthcare is better. It is because the US built its system during a war and never bothered to fix it. And the same pattern repeats with education. After the war, the GI Bill flooded universities with students. Colleges realized they could charge more. Over the decades, tuition became detached from actual costs. Today, the average American student graduates with about $30,000 in debt. In Germany, public university tuition is essentially zero. Okay, so geography created monopolies. History built a broken system. But the real reason nothing changes? Politics. Specifically, lobbying. The pharmaceutical industry alone spent about $380 million on lobbying in 2024. That makes them the single biggest lobbying force in Washington. $380 million. And what did that buy them? For decades, it literally bought a law that prevented Medicare, the largest drug buyer in the country, from negotiating prices. Imagine that. The biggest customer in the room, banned by law from asking for a discount. That only changed partially in 2022 with the Inflation Reduction Act, which allowed Medicare to negotiate prices on just 10 drugs starting in 2026. 10 out of thousands. The telecom industry is no different. Comcast, AT&T, and Verizon have spent billions over the years lobbying against municipal broadband, which is when a city tries to build its own affordable internet network. Over 20 states have laws restricting or outright banning cities from offering their own broadband. Your city wants to give you cheaper internet? These companies paid politicians to make that illegal. And here is the thing that should make your blood boil. The Europeans figured this out decades ago. The European Union forces telecom companies to share their networks with competitors. It is called open access regulation. That is why a French person can choose from dozens of internet providers on the same infrastructure. In the US, the cables belong to one company, and they set whatever price they want. But there is one more ingredient in this trap, and it might be the most powerful one: culture. Americans have been taught to associate high prices with quality. If something is expensive, it must be better. If healthcare costs more, it must be the best in the world. Right? Wrong. The US ranks dead last among wealthy nations in healthcare outcomes according to the Commonwealth Fund. Last. Despite spending the most. And yet, every time someone suggests adopting a system that works in literally every other developed country, the conversation gets shut down with one word: socialism. That word, loaded with Cold War history, has been weaponized to protect industries that profit from the status quo. It is not an economic argument. It is a cultural one. And it costs the average American family thousands of dollars every single year. Meanwhile, countries like Australia, Japan, and Germany, countries with thriving capitalist economies, provide universal healthcare, affordable education, and regulated telecom. They are not socialist countries. They just decided that certain things should not be a profit center. So what can you actually do about this? First, stop paying the default price. For prescriptions, use tools like GoodRx or Cost Plus Drugs, Mark Cuban's pharmacy that sells drugs at near cost. For phone plans, ditch Verizon, and AT&T MVNOs. Mobile virtual network operators like Mint Mobile or Visible use the same exact towers for a fraction of the price. Some of you are paying $75 a month for the same service you could get for $30. For internet, check if your city offers municipal broadband or look into fixed wireless options like T-Mobile Home Internet. And for healthcare, if you are self-employed or buying your own insurance, actually compare plans on the marketplace. Most people just renew without shopping around and overpay by hundreds every year. But here is the bigger point. The America tax is not inevitable. It exists because of specific policy choices driven by lobbying dollars. Every other wealthy country on earth has figured out how to deliver these services at a fraction of the cost. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed, just not for you. If this video made you rethink what you are paying for, hit subscribe. I break down exactly how companies take your money and how to stop them every single week. Drop a comment telling me which part of the America tax hits you the hardest. And share this with someone who thinks expensive means better. Because the most expensive country in the world is not giving you the best deal. It is giving you the biggest bill. As always, this is general information for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Do your own research before making any financial decisions. Sources are linked in the description below.